Hey everybody, Unstable Gamer here, and welcome back to Camelot. We are jumping back into King Arthur Legends Rise, and we're going to be talking about gearing, specifically your equipment and your relics and everything that you need to know. This is a guide for that, and I've got some tips for you as well, so let's go ahead and jump into it. But first, before we do, if you're just now finding this channel and you want to stay up to date with this and other games, consider hitting that subscribe button so you don't miss out. All right, and welcome back. Jumping back into King Arthur Legends Rise, talking about equipment and relics and everything that you need to know. This is the guide for that. I've got some tips for you as well. Maybe you're new to the game, or maybe you've been playing a while and you want to see if you've missed something. I've put out some guides and some tips and some tricks and things like that. If you haven't seen those, I'll go ahead and put a link up to them over here. One of the tips that I go over is making sure that with your gear, you match the stats to the ability of your relics. So let's go ahead and take a look at what I mean by that. If you haven't seen that, we go into relics here. Every ability is tied to some sort of stat. Most abilities are tied to some sort of stat. When you take a look at Arthur here, he's looking a little short. His attacks are all based off of attack. So that's going to be the main ability, the main gear stat that I go on. So I've got him in attack gear. If I wanted a counter gear on him, I would probably make sure that my main stat was attack, and then whatever substats after that I'm looking for based on the battle that I'm going into. Now, some characters, they will have abilities that use multiple stats. So if we take a look at Guinevere, for instance, her first two abilities here are based on attack, the attack stat. Her third ability is based on a defense stat. So if you want to maximize the effectiveness of that. So for her, I really focus on the first two abilities, not the third one so much. So I mainly have her in attack. But if you wanted to take advantage of her ultimate here, so maybe attack is primary, you've got some defense in there, or maybe it's defense gear with high attack, really again dependent on the types of battles and things that you're going to be moving into. Some of the abilities like healing is going to be based off the healer's max HP. Sometimes it'll also be based on the recipient of that healing on their HP, maybe missing HP or max HP. So definitely make sure to take a look at that stat because it is very important if you want to maximize the effectiveness of your team, do the most damage, do the most healing, get as far as you can, and squeeze every last drop of performance out of your characters. So definitely do that. When it comes to farming the gear that you need, I don't really recommend farming the dungeons. You definitely want to get as far in these equipment dungeons as you can so you can start unlocking higher and higher gear. But I really recommend farming out of the campaign, and the reason for that is because you have more control over what you get. You get a fair amount of gold, you get some good XP, but you also get to pick and choose the type of armor that you're looking for. So if I take a look at Chapter 7 here, this is going to give me, this gear here, this damage gear. Right? If I go to Chapter 8, it's going to give me resistance gear. So then I can just farm whatever chapter I'm looking for. If I want resist gear, I'm going to farm this all day long, and you will get a fair amount of 3-star and 4-star gear. That's a very good starting point. So definitely do that. That's my recommendation. I'm as far as 9-1 right now, just because I've been doing so much farming. But here's the counterattack gear. If you really like counterattack, I like it. I'll be farming a lot of this as well. But definitely make sure to go in here and farm the gear that you need out of that. Gear enhancement is next. Now, when we take a look at gear enhancement, let's go in here, and I'm just going to click enhance. You can go to the forge and click to get in there. So in the enhance here, the auto enhance here is a very good quality of life feature. Typically what I will do is I will hit 6 and then I will auto enhance to 6. I've never had a fail. I can't recall a fail I've ever had going to 6. Now, if you've got some gold and you don't mind maybe 1 or 2 fails, then go to 9. I would not recommend going past 9 because you waste so much gold. I did do that once. I did do this specifically for a quest that we needed. I did it with this gear piece here, but I lost millions of gold. I'm really far down in gold. I lost so much gold, it's not worth it. So definitely go to 6. 9, if you've got the gold, that is definitely worth it. And auto enhance is an absolute awesome quality of life feature. Next, when it comes to this, is changing stats. So when you go into changing stats, you're really taking a look at these stats down here. So these ones up here are static. So as you take a look at gear pieces that you want to change stats for, make sure you're good with the static stats. And then as far as the variable stats here that you can change, it is random. It's going to go. Maybe that top one will go 2 or 3 times, or maybe it'll go back and forth a few. It is random as far as what gets changed. So if you hit a stat that you really like, and you want to try and get that second stat, but you really like that one that you just got, I would say leave it there, because again, it costs gold, and gold in this game is just not abundant enough. So any opportunity you have to save gold, make sure to take it. Next are presets, and that's going to wrap up equipment. Presets are a really good tool to use in here. Maybe you want a resist set for a specific boss. Maybe you want a farming set. Maybe you want an arena set and a resist set. It's just really cool that you can go ahead and put 2 different gear sets here based on what you want to do in the game. So the two most common things that you do in the game and you really push on is campaign and arena. So you have a farming or a campaign set and an arena set. Or maybe you have boss sets, things like that, especially once you get more towards end game. It's not so much about progression, it's about farming those bosses. So definitely take advantage of these presets. These used to combine stats. They don't anymore. They did patch that. So if you notice that, that got fixed. And that's equipment. That's everything that I've got on equipment. If I've missed anything, definitely let me know. If you've got any tips or anything that you found along the way that's helpful, definitely share in the comment section below so everybody benefits. Now let's jump into relics. Relics is another way to continue to progress and strengthen your characters. First, let's just jump in. I'm going down a list here. Arthur's Frost Weapon, if you're curious where that is, and if you're unlucky like me to get it out of the gacha, is actually here in the arena store. So you're going to need 2,000 coins, 2,000 arena coins, in order to unlock his Frost Relic. So if I don't have his Frost Relic unlocked through the gacha, and I don't even know if it's in the gacha, but if I don't have it unlocked, by the time I get to 2,000 arena coins here, that's the first thing that I'm purchasing out of this store. Now, you need 2,000 because, again, you need 10 relic pieces in order to go ahead and summon that, which is why when you go to the summoning and you go to the shard shop, don't waste your currency, your shards, trying to get weapons out of here. You need 10 and you only get 1 for each. So you need to do this 10 times if you want a weapon out of here. I did it with Anguish. I'm like, will they give me enough to summon the relic? No, they don't. They give you 1. So you got to do it 10 times. It's an absolute waste. I would stay away from it. And then as far as these over here, you can purchase 1 of these and it will unlock that character. I have not done that. Well, I did that once. I did that for, I can't remember what character I did. I did it as a test, and it does unlock the character for you. All right, so let's see. Let's go back to the heroes. Another thing that you want to make sure to do is you want to make sure to summon all relics. As you do your summoning, you're going to get additional relics, different elements, and you want to make sure that you get all of them. So when you take a look at the relics here, you've got these different relics here, elements here, and those are obviously it's the rock, paper, scissors mechanic, right? So maybe you go into a boss and I don't need the flame one, maybe I need the frost one in order to do the most damage and be the most effective. So you want to make sure to unlock every one of these for all of your characters, and that's what I've started to do. Now, a lot of these I still only have 1 for, but as we start getting into the uncommons, then we start seeing more and more of those weapons. So I've got 2, I got 3, I got 2. Make sure to summon all of those as you can. Save your shards. Don't use them for anything else at this point, except summoning the weapons so that you can have them and use them when you need them. All right, next. So let's talk about progressing your relic. So just like your character, you're going to level them up, and you're going to level them up using this Relic Breath. The Relic Breath, the source info, I think is a really good quality of life too. I can just hit that. It's going to tell me where I'm going to farm it. Relic Forge is a waste. I don't go there. Just farm it out of Frozen Plain. That's the same place that you need to farm the star seeds for the advancement. So the same leveling mechanics for your character is the same leveling mechanics for your relic. Every 10 levels, you're going to advance, go 10 more levels, advance, so on and so forth. Make sure to farm those, get as far down in that dungeon as you can. I'll show you where it is in case you don't know or if you haven't played the game before. And then the skill ups here. When you talk about the skill ups, you want to make sure to use the books. Don't use the shards. Again, save the shards because they may be used for something later on down the road. I've heard there's some sort of advancement system where it goes beyond the gold stars here, and they red or pink or purple or whatever they are. So we may need to know that. But as we get closer to global, we'll probably have some more details around that. But save your shards. Use your books to upgrade the abilities of your relic, and I'll show you where to do that in the Talus dungeon as well. Apart from the relic, you've got passives here for your character also for progression. You can use these skill ups. You get these. No. Up here. Skill ups for your passives. You get these out of the relic dungeon as well, and I'll show you where that is right now. Go over here, relics, you're going to unlock Talisman Dungeon eventually. These open up different days of the week. You can hit Blessing Info, and it'll tell you which characters are which as far as these different elements. Now, the cool thing is, I thought this was cool. I can click on a Talisman Dungeon, and I can spend gems if I wanted to. I can spend gems to unlock that Talisman Dungeon, and then I can farm the dungeon. So if I need something, if I really don't need this Chaos Talisman, but I need Lightning, then I will spend my tickets, because you only get 2 per day. I could unlock this, spend my tickets in here. Now, with the 2 that you get per day, you can click on this, go to the store. There's 2 additional tickets in the store. Make sure to get that as well. I think it's 120 gems, 100, 120, somewhere around there. Because the more you farm the Talisman dungeon, the quicker you're going to be able to progress your character's passives and your relics abilities and do more damage and be more effective, right? It's all about being as effective as you can and getting as far in the game as possible. So definitely make sure you use up all of your farming in here, because it's definitely worth it. If I click here, here's the books, and here's this material. What are these called? Talisman of Chaos, just the talismans. All right, with that, Frozen Plains, just really quick, we'll wrap up on where that is. Dungeons, we go to Power Up Dungeon, and it's right here, and you just farm these. I'll go into that, and then you'll unlock your Dragon Breath, your Relic Breath, and your Star Seeds there. And again, get as far down as in this as you can. Farm the highest difficulty you can so that you get the more valuable resources, so you can get your weapons, your relics up. Advance them, level them again, and be as effective as you can. And there you go, everybody. That is what I had on equipment and relics gearing in the game. Very interested in your thoughts. Definitely let me know. All right, everybody. As always, I want to thank you all for taking the time to watch the video. If you liked it, make sure to hit that like button and share your thoughts and questions in the comments section below. Take care, everybody, and we'll talk to you next time.